Hey there. I want to share an interesting deep learning technique that Insteel might use to improve their inventory or raw materials procurement forecasting. What's the scoop here? Insteel just announced their quarterly earnings. They had a monster 2022, but earnings are down 50% this quarter. And it's not really their fault. Or the quick reading of it is they still have market leading position. They have good macro factors. They've got a lot in their non-residential business, which is most of what they do, that's going well, that's looking good. They've just got a little too much inventory. Well, how did they get here? Well, they made a forecast last year that residential demand was going to increase or was going to be higher than the level that it actually was. And as a result, what they needed was additional supply. They needed more steel. The U.S. market can only give them about 20%. They had to go externally. So in Q3, Q4, they're buying steel internationally. And because of the Buy America Act, they need to be very careful when they do this so those purchases don't get challenged. As a result, they tend to buy steel, international steel, for residential construction versus commercial or non-residential because it's less likely to get challenged. Unfortunately, that's where the demand dropped. The commercial, the non-residential is still strong. So they have this inventory that's more expensive that's sitting there. And with the drop in demand, their average selling price has dropped. And this is even confounded. I'll stop here, but they're with their accounting method of first in, first out. So they're selling when they're selling at a lower price, but they're using the most expensive inventory. This will clear up, of course, in a couple of months, provided things rebound. But nevertheless, it created a challenge driven by a forecast. Okay, so what could they do, and who am I to even share anything? Well, they're professionals at doing forecasting. They've been doing this forever. They're very good at it. You're not always going to get it right. But you can always look at other techniques or other sources of data. Here's one I want to bring up. In the Advanced Engineering Informatics Journal last January, there was an interesting paper on using reinforcement learning, so this kind of new, exciting form of deep learning, coupled with some of these existing inventory management procurement techniques, a two-part model to do better predictions of raw material inventory and procurement in the petrochemical business. And while that's not nearly the same thing as construction materials, they do have a very similar cost structure. It's about 75% of net sales, or your cost of goods sold is made up mostly of raw materials. It's very similar in that business. So there could be some overlap here. Does it solve the problem? No. But given how much grief they're getting from the analysts and others about the drop in earnings, when it looks like the core business is good, the market position is good, all of the other indicators indicate this is a strong and growing business, it seems like revisiting this forecasting model, maybe doing some sort of data science initiative around here, considering approaches like reinforcement learning, might be worth exploring.